Well, we could. No, never mind. I'm not gonna say what I was gonna say.
What were you going to talk about, Joel?
Oh, never mind. I'll tell you about it later. Well,
Uh-huh.
okay. I'll talk crazy. We're talking about reloading. I was gonna say, like, to make your stuff not work, you have to really do something dumb. Because I've been case gauging Ben's ammo as he loads it, where he just like eyeballs the powder, he eyeballs the OAL, and that stuff runs like a champ. Like a champ. But you even loaded Gaston's ammo. He didn't have any problems either. So something's really got
to his reloads.
Yeah.
Oh man.
All right, welcome to Practical Shooting After Dark. We're here to talk about shooting. You guys know the rules. Everybody comes with a topic. Joel's on deck apparently to talk about reloading.
Yeah.
Jeff's here talk about I don't know what, borrowing guns for matches. How good of an idea that is.
Yeah.
And I don't know. What do you want me to talk about, Joel? So you don't like the match topic? You're just afraid I'll talk crazy, aren't you?
Ben, you'd never talk crazy.
No.
We should have a spicy episode. Come on.
Yeah, we should have a spicy episode.
We don't need a spicy episode. No.
Yeah. Anyway, that's the deal. Joel, I don't know what do you really want to talk about reloading? You can go first, man.
We'll let Jeff go first, and I'll think of a topic for you while Jeff's talking.
No, I want to talk about US IPSC Nationals, which is a match that I went to. That was a big match, apparently. I don't know. Like it's a very strange match in terms of attendance. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Florida locals go. Some heavy hitters go because they want World Shoot slots, and then people from Latin America go.
Well,
that's pretty much who turns up.
Well, real talk, like that conversation is the only really reason to do it is because you want a World Shoot slot.
That is
or
literally.
Unless you just live there.
I have a champion slot, so I don't need a slot, but I want a team slot so I can get on the squad because they squad by teams. It's kind of messed up at World Shoots. Or it's not really messed up. It's just different. So they squad by teams. So I want to be squatted with the team, which means trying to get and take a World Shoot team slot, which will, of course, displace one of our guys.
That's selfish of you, sir.
It's the most dickish thing I've done in a while to go and get a team slot. Quite honestly, I feel a little dirty about it, even though I have every right and every reason to want that slot for myself.
Well,
but
contributing to the team's success, right?
Yeah.
Sharing knowledge. There is that. Sharing knowledge.
If I'm just a USPSA guy and I want to be good, is there any reason for me to go to IPSC Nationals if I don't care about going to a World Shoot? Maybe that would be a question that would apply to people.
Well, yeah. I mean, if it's a big match to go to, I would prefer that over an area match, probably. I mean, quite honestly, I mean, I've shot Area 3 at gobs of times, Mr. Joel. Your area. That's probably the area match that I've gone to the most of any. I think I consecutively attended it for like 9 years.
Wow.
I haven't been since I think 2016, but I went like 9 years in a row. Yeah, I mean it's kind of like an area match just with a lot of top talent there. The thing that would keep a lot of people away and probably should keep a lot of people away is that there's different rules and different equipment rules. So if you shoot limited, I would not personally tell you to set up your gun for standard. Change your ammunition, change your loads, and then go shoot IPSC Nationals. I would not tell you to do that.
Plus, is there a box or it's a different mag well you have to use in a different magazine length or something?
The gun has to fit a box. The magazines have to be in the gun when it fits the box. The power factor is different. Yeah, if you have a limited gun, it probably won't work in the box. Probably. Maybe it will, but probably not. It's not as it sits.
What about production and open?
Production is largely the same. If you have a Tanfo or a Shadow 2 and you've taken a Dremel to the inside of the magwell and knocked a couple edges off, which you're allowed to do in USPSA, that's a no-go now for IPSC. So now that you need a different gun. Or you can hope they don't catch you, I suppose. That's not a very good idea.
Does not seem like a good idea.
Yeah. So yeah, I would. It's difficult to recommend people go if they have to like make gear changes or something. But if you have the stuff to go do it, then like then it's fine. It's like going to shoot an area match. It's not. It is not, in my opinion, a real nationals. Like the eyes of USPSA are not on this match. Nobody really cares. I mean, they hand out a Manny plaque for the national champion trophy. You know what I mean? There's not like a separate awards banquet. I mean, everything about it is like, hey, this is not a real nationals. We're just calling it nationals because that's what we like to do. Because more nationals is better, I guess.
So if there's someone who's only shot USPSA matches, sectionals, maybe some area matches, is the IPSC Nationals different in flavor? Is there a difference you'd notice shooting this?
Yeah. Well, that's difficult. That's a more complicated question than it might sound like. Yes, it'll be different, but all the matches at Frostproof are pretty tough. So it's going to be a high difficulty match. Jeff, you shot the 2014 World Shoot there?
I did not.
You just shot the one in France? Okay.
Yeah.
So the matches there are traditionally tougher. I don't think it matters too much if it's like Florida Open or Monster Match, or if they have Area 6 there, or a USPSA Nationals. The matches are always tougher. So the one difference is they're going to follow the IPSC guidelines for our short courses, medium courses, and long courses. So that will be different, and the difficulty is going to be higher than you might expect. But that's largely due to the venue, not so much the rule set. The IPSC rule set, aside from equipment, is largely irrelevant for this match. So if your equipment complies and you remember not to take a sight picture when you make ready for the stage, you probably wouldn't know that the rules are different because the differences are fairly minor as far as running the stages.
All right.
Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. So while we talked about this when we were pre-gaming it, like the way the stages were built, there was no place where you were tempted to shortcut anything. So in IPSC rules, you're not allowed to run outside the fault lines to take a shortcut. USPSA rules, you can do that. But at this match, that was a completely irrelevant distinction because there would be no temptation to do that. None that I saw anyway. I think that pretty much covers it, yeah. What do you say, Joel? Anything else?
I don't think so.
Well,
Go ahead.
it is a match I went to. I normally don't like going to Florida in July, so I would probably sit it out if I didn't want the team slot. Personally, that's me. Anyway, so yes, we went and shot that match. That was a lovely time for me. I don't know, Joel, you derailed me if I should tell people to go to it. You're so trying to be helpful.
That would just be my question. Like, why should I care and why would I go? Because I don't have any interest in IPSC or traveling overseas.
Okay.
So at this time, so it's like, hey, I just care about shooting in the U.S. I want to be, a mercenary at matches. So is there a reason for me to go to that or not? I think would maybe be the boat that a lot of people would be in.
Yeah, if it's close and convenient. So if you have the gear, if your gear situation sorted out, that would increase the convenience. And if it's close, it is about as interesting as an area match, in my opinion.
And like you said, there's top people there. So
yeah. Now, is it a European style IPSC match? No, it's not. It just isn't. There's not like lots of long running. The stages don't feel super balanced to me in terms of difficulty. Like the way that they make things hard in Florida is they just put everything further away and they're like, oh, this is a technical match. And you're like, well, I don't know if it's technical. It's like it's hard as shit in many respects. This one was not as tough as the ones in years past have been. But yeah, it's to me, it's I have a different view of it than most people, I would say. Because as you know, Joel, I travel around and shoot a lot. So I'm like, well, European style, this is not. It's kind of like, I don't mean to junk Jeff's country, but in Canada, it's kind of like USPSA light. Is that fair to say, Jeff?
I think so. Yeah.
I mean, they don't mind you walking on stages before, one IPSC rule that they do take seriously in Florida is that you You can't walk on the stages without the permission of the match or the range officers, and you don't have permission to walk on there unless it's your time for stage walkthroughs. So you're not allowed to pre-walk the stages there. That's a rule that they don't do it that way in Canada, right, Jeff? Does they do that way anywhere in the country?
Not that I'm aware of.
Yeah, I haven't heard of it either anywhere in Canada. So it's like, well, that's one thing that's different in Canada. 10 rounds, everything kind of gives it a very USPSA feel too, to me, especially shooting production in Canada. But yeah, it is not a terribly different thing than what we normally do here. European style IPSC is a lot different. And maybe you'd like that better or maybe not. I don't really know.
Gotcha.
All right.
Good to know.
Jeffy.
Well, I still have my gun out of commission. It's been 5 weeks. So
you say 5 weeks like it's a long time. A crack slide and you being down for 5 weeks. I don't think this is so bad, personally.
5 weeks feels like a very long time, though.
Oh, no, I'd be infuriated. Don't get me wrong.
Mm-hmm.
But
my nationals is 1 week away as of today's recording date. Yep.
And we were messaging yesterday, and you said you won't get your guns that you have built until next month.
At least. Correct.
Because you have 2 guns that you had built.
Yep. So I don't think I'll have them in time for USPSA nationals. We'll see.
Oh, no.
Yep. So I've been training with a production gun. I actually have been shooting a stock 2. And you know what? I think it's actually in some way beneficial.
Yeah, I mean, if you're shooting a Tanfoglio, you have to learn how to shoot with a rock hard erection the whole time. It's not easy to do, is it, Jeff?
It isn't.
Joel is so upset right now that I said that.
I'm just like, that makes no sense. Okay.
What do you mean it makes no sense, Joel?
The
it's
guns
a stock 2 in his hands.
They're okay, but yeah, okay.
Shut up.
It gives me a whole new appreciation of what a gun actually feels like when it's not an open gun. So I'm actually learning to read sights and actually use it and rely on what that is telling me instead of an open gun where I've learnt it's more of a crutch in a way. Right? The dot is a lot more informative, but the information is quite quick. So very different game, and actually setting up some live fire drills and running the gun hard, I think it's actually been very beneficial. So I'm seeing firsthand what you're saying, Ben, with training 2 different divisions, even though your divisions are much closer with limited and production. But the guns feel different. And I think you actually pick up some transferable skills when you...
Really? Like what?
I think so.
Anything specific?
I think it's a lot less instinctive when I'm shooting a production gun. I'm more aware of what I'm doing, and maybe it's a unfamiliar gun in my hand, but yeah, everything in terms of where my body's at, how I'm moving, how the gun transitions and swings, and how it settles on target, you become hyper aware of what's going on, and that it leads to being I'm a lot more critical of myself, and I can actually make small changes that I feel are beneficial.
Interesting.
I agree with what you're saying, Jeff. I mean, I think it's an unfamiliar gun, so you being a smart guy, you're going to say, hey, this is unfamiliar, so you really get conscious about everything you're doing. Yeah. So it was like when you shot a Tanfoglio down here for a while.
Oh, man.
You shot those carry optics guns, right?
God, that piece of shit.
Those guns are awesome, right, Jeff?
That was about 1,500 rounds in 2 days?
And whoever came up with that frame design for that gun was not a sharp cookie.
No.
Smart man. It's okay, though.
Those were junk.
Their other guns are okay.
Don't
Can't really recommend that
pitch like that, yeah.
No, sorry, dude. Like, I like flying the Tanfo flag, and like, I'll be straight with you. Like, stock 2, raging hard the whole time I have one. Even in my hands, don't have to be shooting it, just holding it. This other gun, I don't even know what it's called. Polymer match. It's like the problem is the frame is too fat.
Yep.
Especially around like the the beaver tail of it, it's like
Oh.
it's too much. So it's if you had like Jared's hands, Jared Fox,
Yeah. Sasquatch.
that gun would fit him perfectly.
Okay.
No, seriously, it's for like really big dudes.
Well, he makes a Shadow 2 look like a compact. It looks like he's shooting a Glock 26 or something. So.
Yeah, it's like he's driving around in a clown car. Yeah, so it's just the gun is just super big, and it's like, oh man, this is a pain in the ass to handle it. I mean, it functions, it hits where you point it and everything, and it runs, but the frame is too big for me anyway, and Jeff and you, but other people maybe not. All right, yeah. So cross training with it. Will you have your open gun in time for this match, dude?
I just got a text from my gunsmith. He should have it back to me early next week. So I have about three to 4 days of practice before nationals.
With the new gun, a brand new gun.
With my fixed gun.
Oh, your fixed gun.
The slide will be different. It'll balance a little differently. So
you have like a lot of ammo loaded, I'm guessing.
I do.
So you have to just torture test it to make sure it runs.
Do you have time to go practice and everything?
I do. I actually have a range now.
Wow, that's pretty big news.
Yeah, 40 minutes away, which, isn't bad at all.
That sounds terrible.
All right, well, let's move on to Mr. Joel Park. What's going on, dude?
Okay. I think Ben and I think we talked about this just in a roundabout way a couple of months ago, but I want to talk about being the creator of your own demise. So I think
the architect of your own misery, you mean?
That too.
You're being your own jailer?
That too. Keep going.
Complicating your life and justifying why you do it.
So I think sometimes people just aren't realistic about what could happen in a stage, or maybe they overestimate their ability. So an example would be loading to 20+1 for a 20-round stage that has 4 steel targets on it. And during their walkthrough, they plan to go 1 for 1. They see other people on the squad. You watch Ben. Ben does it. Ben goes 1 for 1. And then, when they're up, they get in a hurry. They have some makeup shots.
I'd go 1 for 1 on the steel and then reload anyway, though.
Okay.
I'm sure I probably would.
So. Well, you probably, because you're very smart, you probably would. But yeah, somebody that doesn't and they end up at slide lock on a target array. Or maybe everyone is shooting, in the squad shooting a few targets in the move. An aggressive activator sequence, something like that. And they see everybody else doing it in front of them, they copy the plan, and they're shocked when they have misses on it or the timing's not there or something doesn't go right. So I think a lack of self-awareness causes some of those issues. So the fix would just be setting up lots of those shots that you see in matches during your practice. Then you practice on them, and then based on your practice, you know what you can and can't do. So there are times when I look at something and I get a gut feeling, like I'm not so sure about this. And you need to speak to that. I mean, you need to listen to that. You need to be attentive because that's usually your experience speaking to you, and you should listen. So if I see something, I'm like, yeah, I can do it. Do it. If I'm like, maybe, and I'm like, nope, that's my sign. I'm not doing it. What are we going to say, Ben?
I would say the main problem that most people have here is that it's so easy for them to be. I mean, most people that train on hard shots, at least sometimes, and they still don't have a very accurate perception of what their abilities are, and it's because they're so good at cherry picking data that they want. You know what I mean? They'll shoot
the best run of a
the best run, or they'll shoot 300 rounds. They're like, okay, match run time. And then they shoot their little thing, or they're shooting a really difficult shot, whatever that is, and maybe 3 times out of 10 they can't make it. They can't make the shot, but in their minds they're like, oh, if I like focus or whatever, I can make it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
When really what I would see is, hey, you have a 30% fail rate on this shot. That is substantial. So having very accurate perception about what it is you can do, that's important.
Yeah. And then if everyone else in the squad's doing a plan, literally everyone, and I look at it, I don't know, I'm not so sure, then I'll have to pick a more conservative or a different plan, and that's fine. Because you don't want to just follow the leader and have a train wreck or misses or go to slide lock somewhere that you shouldn't be. So, yeah, self-awareness and being just realistic, listening to your gut, because that's your intuition speaking to you.
kind of on that note, I'm sure you guys have seen this too, where a shooter does something, fucks it up mostly, and has, by chance, a reshoot, and they decide, you know what? I had a practice run, so I'm going to do the exact same thing that I demonstrably could not do, but I'm going to do it again.
Yes. Tell me how the story ends, Jeff.
Oh, we all know how the story ends.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, you've been given a gift. Don't do that again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, should we move on to some questions?
Sounds amazing.
Yes, it does. Let me pull these up. Me being so conscientious and all. Here we go. Oh, shit. Joel, you have forbidden me from reading this email, so we're going to move on to the next one.
Oh, I know exactly which one that is.
Still popped up in my email.
I appreciate that, sir. Nope, you could just delete that one now.
Yep, nope, not to worry.
Appreciate your consideration in that matter and respecting my wishes.
Yep, two things, a question and a statement. Question, I'm a C-class shooter who's just starting out in single stack. God's gun and God's caliber. I assume he means a 9mm 1911.
It's the way they were designed.
Yep. I'm dry firing 3 days a week, live fire. You know what, Jeff? It just occurred to me that there'll be some population of people out there that did not understand that what just took place was a joke. Because it was so dry, it just went right by. And you're like, yep, that's the way they designed it. They think like, hey, he doesn't know? You don't know? He doesn't know. Like,
you get a
losing
spam
their
of
mind.
messages.
They're losing their minds right now.
Yeah. Well, they'll educate you. You'll get emails to educate you now.
I'm dry firing 3 days a week, live fire 1 day a week. I'm on a limited ammo budget, approximately 300 rounds a week. I'm getting ass fucked at matches, so I need to work on everything. With 300 rounds, what drills would you recommend focusing on to be a more well-rounded shooter? Before we answer this, this is a statement. I've been a cop for 15 years and on the SWAT team for the last 5. I thought I was good to go with a handgun until I bought a copy of Skills and Drills. Yeah, that'll ruin anyone's day, dude. I started bringing the book to SWAT training every month. We'd pick one drill at random for the team to shoot. After a few months, everyone on the team was shooting better handgun qualification scores. Just wanted to put it out there that your shit isn't just for competition shooting. Your shit is spot on and will make anyone a better shooter. Oh, okay. Anyway.
Just to speak to that, I would say that's excellent on his part because not everyone can do that. Because sometimes people in that profession maybe are very confident and they don't want to admit that they don't know everything. So that's awesome that he is wanting to better himself and he's willing to accept, hey, I might not be the best at this and maybe there is room for improvement or somebody that could help me improve. So not everyone has that personality. So that is good.
Yeah, that is good. Okay, so C-class shooter, limited ammo budget. He's doing dry fire pretty regular. What drills would you recommend, guys, and why? Guess why is the more interesting question.
Jeff.
I don't think I can take the lead on this. I don't.
Let me guess. This guy gave you no baseline as far as where he's at in terms of skills, and you're just like, well, wait, I don't understand.
Okay,
I understand the general want to get better, right? I mean, but that's not a measurable objective, so I really have no specific advice on that. And I don't really watch enough C-class shooters to know.
Oh, C-class is great, Jeff. You can be a sniper. Like, you shoot nothing but A's and be in C-class, or you can be able to do, sort of like Instagram level draws and reloads and be in C-class. Both of those people can fit right in C-class given the right set of circumstances. C-class covers a lot of ground, unfortunately.
Okay. Let me take a stab at this then. How about this? You look at your last match and you just look at it, watch your video, and you just decide what you suck at the most. That's your lowest hanging fruit. It might be more than one thing. That's all right. Like, I've got more than one thing I want to work on. When you're dry firing, you pick a couple things to work on as you dry fire through the week. And then when you go to the range, you pick a couple different skills. Maybe you have 300 rounds. Maybe it's one drill, or maybe it's two drills. So maybe I'm working on transitions really hard I don't even need ammo for that. So I'm working on transitioning the gun without even pressing the trigger. Then when I go to the range, now let's test it and make sure my dry fire practice, I'm validating that I'm doing it correctly. Maybe I want to work on not pressing the gun down when I shoot. So I'm doing a lot of trigger control at speed. Then when I get to the range, I'm doing some shooting. Am I pushing the gun down? So you're going to vary up. I mean, you work on everything all the time. So there's not just one thing that's like, hey, if you were just great at transitions, that'll fix everything else. Unfortunately, it doesn't work that way. So your dry fire changes, and then when you go to the range to live fire, you validate your dry fire.
Yes. So I can't really ignore the background information that the guy gave. So I would be thinking straight away to be spending more time on faster shooting as opposed to longer tight shots. I would presume that this guy can make those given no time limit. So I would put the tilt on stuff that's close and fast, if you know what I mean, Joel.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
I agree with that.
Yeah. So then I would be doing lots of movement in the dry fire where he's like practices running around and changing magazines and getting set up into position. Given this ammo budget, I would try to do my kind of navigating the stage training. I would do that dry almost exclusively. Like running around, reloading, drawing fast, kind of like anything that is getting into position, I would be doing that. And then I would do stuff like accelerator, Blake drills, stuff like that, Bill drills, like good standard tests where I have a baseline time. I would be doing that stuff on the range with my live ammo. I mean, when I was very heavily restricted on ammo back in the day, that is what I did. And that was a good combination for me. You know what I mean?
Or some low round count classifiers, because then you have a baseline of what a good score is.
Yeah, I mean, and it would just be, okay, like accelerator's good because there's, time measurements in there for how, like where you should be at on each target and what the aggregate time should be and all that stuff. So that would give him a good idea of where to go with his training. But I'm assuming when I say this, I'm not really assuming, I would infer that he can make shots given no time limit.
Yeah.
And being in C class means like, hey, dude, you're slow, so you should work on shooting faster, obviously. And then practice the running around and reloading and getting into shooting positions, practicing that dry. I used to do that stuff hours a day, dry. Hours a day. And it was good. What's that?
Along with accelerator, I think crisscross is also one of my very favorite drills.
Yeah.
It teaches you a lot. It's a very easy standard practice setup. It teaches you about shooting the gun fast, shooting the gun straight on the head boxes, like a distance change-up type of drill.
Yeah. So what you normally see here is guys have trouble changing up between fast shooting and then a little bit more deliberate shooting. They have a problem changing up. In isolation, they can do either skill. But yes, you're right. Practicing on stuff like crisscross, that's a nice one too. Well, that pretty much covers for the day, doesn't it, guys? Yeah, nothing to add, anyone? Yeah, whatever. It is a bang up podcast.
They all are.
Here, just talking about shooting stuff. Hey, Jeff, your hair's looking a little long there, buddy.
I've been inspired.
Oh my god.
You're starting the hockey hair movement, Jeff?
Feels right in Canada.
It does kind of feel right. It feels right in Wisconsin. What would you
Joel,
say about that, Joel?
Are you starting?
Absolutely not. I'm getting a haircut. You set me up for this on purpose. I'm getting a haircut in 50 minutes because my hair is way too long right now.
Looks like a number 3 right now, right?
You look like you have leukemia.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Like, what do you mean your hair is too long?
Yeah. Hey, when you get to those 100-degree index, those heat advisory days, and you got that long hair, and Ben's just sweating to death, I'm like, hey, I've got this short hair, and I'm staying nice and cool.
Whatever.
Facts. I was watching on a training
price to pay.
Some of your videos were like from when you looked respectable. I almost had to look twice. I'm like, who is that guy? Oh, that's Ben. with a regular haircut, looking respectable.
Yeah, that's not my thing anymore. Well, anyway, guys, thank you so much for coming on, and I do appreciate it. And listeners, if you have a question, go to benstigger.com, send me your question. I would love to hear from you.